So I think my dad wants to say a couple words and maybe sing a song or two. So, you ready, Pop? All
right.
I didn't get a chance to practice because my orchestra complained that I am off tempo, unable to follow the keys or off key, so I have to do it alone. By the way, my musical career started when my mother saw me while working in a farm, taking care of the goats, the chickens, the cows, the pigs, and whatever you have there. My mother had an epiphany. They said, you should be a good concert pianist. So in high school, she decided to send me to a piano school. The problem is we had no piano. So you go to school and you get an assignment. You're supposed to know it by the time you come back. We had no piano, so I had no way of knowing what was assigned to me. So going back to school, I had to walk very slowly. Supposed to be an hour lesson, but I got to get there maybe 30 minutes late, so I got 30 minutes. And anyway, to make the story short, I didn't learn anything. It turned out that all my brothers and sisters who never studied piano, they can all play piano. And I can never do it. I just cannot do it. I'm just retarded, that's all. You know, nowadays, I'm alone and start revisiting Bible and try to do some comparison among the different religious beliefs. I try to look at the literature, the beautiful literature that's written by so many There are beautiful literatures, some very poetic, and looking at the Bible, our kind of spiritual guide, there are two particular books that are so poetic. One of them is Proverbs, and the other one are letters of Paul. And I also read the Quran. I think that's the most poetic book there is. I think in its original form. The biggest problem is in the course of the translation to the English language. So many of the rhythm is lost. I am suspicious that whoever translated the Arabic into English must be a Christian who have issues with the other sex, probably, because it's just not, it doesn't ring according to the original Quran as it was written in Arabic. What I learned is Quran was written by somebody who was not highly educated. But if you look at, if you read it probably in its original form, that book is one of the most well-written books there is. Now going back to my singing, I'm planning to sing a series of songs until you stop me, of course. These are love songs. So I'd like to kind of backtrack and reference you to the biblical beginnings of what I'm going to sing. Apostle Paul, or Saint Paul, or Paul, it's funny, you know, the history is that guy was very busy chasing the early Christian converts. At that time they were called just one of the sects of one of two Jewish sects. Anyway, while he was trying to apprehend or chase some of the Christians, on the way to Damascus something happened. And Where's Tam? Tam here? No. Rosemary, you're a study student of the Bible. What happened to Paul on his way to Damascus?
He was blinded. He was blinded.
So what happened?
He becomes converted.
Yeah, there's a guy who was chasing the
Actually, was Christian.
and he was practically like hit by lightning, got blinded, and right away he became a follower of Christ. Now he became also, he started preaching the gospel of Christ. And in one of his books, the letters in Corinthians, there's a most, I think you can see that the guy is very highly educated. The literature is so beautiful. And that guy had some kind of dialectical thinking. He always think of opposites. Heaven and hell, love and hate. That's how he approached things. And then he get into these different phrases like life in Christ, life in Adam, life in the Spirit. And so many of them are kind of interchangeable. The phrase in Christ is one of the two most important metaphors Paul uses for his vision of the Christian life. In his letters, Paul uses in Christ 165 times, and the roughly synonymous phrase in the Spirit about 20 times. As a metaphor of the Christian life, in Christ has several dimensions of meaning. Then I'll begin with its opposite. He had his version of life in Adam. As I said, Paul is a dialectical thinker. He opened things in contrast or opposition. The opposite of life in Christ is life in Adam. The two metaphors refer to different and sharply contrasting ways of life. Humanity in Adam is nothing like humanity in Christ. Life in Adam is one of Paul's primary metaphors for the human condition. Within the secret imagination of the Hebrew Bible, which is the Judaic Bible, which is also the Old Testament of the Christian Bible. Adam is the first human, the being whose primal act in the Garden of Eden began the human story of grasping, exile, sin, and death. So sin and death began with Adam. Adam sought to seize or grasp equality with God. The result was exile from paradise and lost intimacy with God. Life in Adam is thus the life of separation or estrangement from God. It's also the life of sin and death, which Paul says came into the world through Adam. What does he mean by this? Does he mean simply that beginning with Adam, people started sinning, dying, and have been sinning and dying ever since? No, his language is too strong for that. He calls sin and death powers that have dominion over us. What does he have in mind? Is sin power, or do we experience it as a power? I do not know if everybody does, but I strongly suspect that Paul did, and that's why he uses his language. To explain by contrast, there is a free will understanding of sin. We are free in each situation to choose right or wrong. When we choose the wrong, we have sinned. But this is not how Paul understood the matter. Rather, life in Adam is life under the domination of sin. Sin controls us, and we are not free. So this is like an addiction. Sin follows you, it stares you at the face all the time. That's why it's very difficult to extricate sin from your being, because it has dominion over you, at least according to Paul. Paul described the lordship of sin over life in Adam in an extended and powerful passage. Though sometimes interpreted autobiographically, the eye of the passage is best understood as referring to what life in Adam is like for anybody. It is a life of bondage and eternal damnation. And this is his kind of deep expression of sorrow. When he says, I do not understand my own actions, or I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. I can will what is right, but I cannot do it. The good that I would do, I do not do. But the evil that I would not do, that I do. Now if I do what I do not want, it is no longer I that do it, but sin that dwells within me. So practically, we have no control over sin. It looks like it always follows us. It's like an addict, where addiction is very hard to shake away from life. Only in this case, these are basically like victims of something, some force that we have no control. Life in Adam is captive to the law of sin. It is not free. For Paul, we are not sinners because we do wrong things. Rather, we do wrong things because sin rules over life in Adam. Paul concludes this impassioned passage with the words, "Wretched man that I am, who will rescue me from the body of death?" Paul's metaphor of life in Adam thus combines central images for the human condition in the Hebrew Bible: sin, death, exile, and bondage. Now, in comparison, we have life in Christ. Excuse me, can I have water? Give me any glasses. Give me a glass, that's not.
No, give me your glass.
That's okay here. Sorry, but you have to bear with me. Life in Christ is the opposite of the life in Adam. It is a new way of being that Paul knew in his own experience, and that he sought to incarnate in the life, the communities he founded. To be in Christ is to be free, no longer enslaved to the dominion of sin and death. Strikingly, freedom is for Paul one of the most central characteristics of the Christian life. It means being reconciled with God, and that brings the end of the exile. To be in Christ is to live in the presence of God as Christ lives in the presence of God. In language that continue to echo the theme of creation on Adam, to be in Christ is to be a new creation. Whoever is in Christ is a new creation. Everything old has passed away. See, everything has become new. All this from God, who reconciled us to God through Christ. With the contrast between life in Adam and life in Christ is the same as Paul's contrast between life according to the flesh and life according to the Spirit. These are almost interchangeable. The contrast is that between physical life and spiritual life, as if the former were bad and the latter good. Flesh here does not mean our physical bodies, as if there were something wrong with physical existence or enjoying our bodies. Rather, life according to the flesh and life according to the Spirit refer to life in Adam and life in Christ as two ways of living our embodied existence. Paul's list describing the former does include what are often thought of as bodily sins, like fornication, impurity, licentiousness, drunkenness, and carousing. But it also includes traits that cannot be reduced to indulging our bodies: idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, anger, quarrels, dissensions, factions, and envy. On the other hand, the characteristic of life according to the Spirit, life in Christ, are freedom and love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. They are not achievements of the will, but the fruit of the Spirit. Even more compactly, in the familiar languages of Paul's Greek love poem in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13. Set in the context of gifts, life in the Spirit is marked by faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of those of this is love. Now, speaking of love, I'll be singing to you later on love song, which you may not like or not, but I have to do it anyway. I mentioned 1 Corinthians chapter 13. It says, I may be able to speak the languages of human beings and even of angels, but if I have no love, my speech is no more than gong, a noisy gong or a clanging bell. I may have the gifts of inspired preaching. I may have all knowledge and understand all secrets. I may have all the faith needed to move mountains, but if I have no love, I am nothing. I may give away everything I have, and even give up my body to be burned. But if I have no love, this does mean no good. Love is patient and kind. It is not jealous or conceited or proud. Love never gives up, and its faith, hope, and patience never fail. Love is eternal. Now this comes to a point nowadays in today's culture. See, love is eternal. What it means is, it is irreversible. When you are in love, that means you are a prisoner of that love. Nowadays, in today's culture, they go in out of love every 2 minutes. Faster than they can change their underwear. And it speaks, of course, of culture. But whatever they say nowadays is not the true meaning of what it was intended to be. Now I will sing. That is the kind of foundation of what I'm going to sing to you.
Love is nature's way of giving a reason to be living. The golden crown that makes a man a king. In the morning mist, two lovers kissed and the world stood still. Then your fingers touched my silent heart and taught it how to sing. Yes, true love, an any splendor thing. On a higher windy hill, in the morning mist, two lovers kissed, and the world stood still. Then your fingers touched my silent heart and taught it how to sing. Yes, true love of any splendor thing. Yeah, if you don't like the melody, just shut off your ears and listen to the lyrics. Because in every word in the lyrics, my heartbeat beats in it. Next. More than the greatest love the world must know. This is the love I give to you alone. More than the simple words I try to say, I only live to love you more each day. More than you'll ever know, my arms long to hold you through my life. Will be in your keeping, waking, sleeping, laughing, weeping, long, again and always is a long, long time, but far beyond, forever you're gonna be mine. I know I've never lived before, and my heart is very sure no one else could love you more. I know I've never lived before, and my heart is very sure no one else could love you more. I just started.
A star is born tonight. Woo! Woo!
This is his debut. He's the opening night. It's videotape.
This song was popularized by Tony Bennett during my college years. This kept me alive for a while. Is the night so tender? Is the night? There's no one in the world except the two of us. Tomorrow find us disenchanted. We had shared a love that few have known. Summers by the sea, a sailboat in Capri. This memory shall be our very own. Even though our dreams may vanish with the morning light, we love ones in splendor, how tender the night. Even though our dreams may vanish with the morning light, we love ones in splendor, how tender the night. Give you my final song. I'm sorry, but this will be final.
Aww. I thought he had 4. That's why I thought he had 4. No, I didn't. He was practicing 4. Yeah.
That's wrong, right? This song was sung by Frank Sinatra during his retirement. Last published song he sung. Now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I say it clear and state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled years and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I had a few. then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned its started course, its careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it all, I spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall, and did my way. I've loved and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that. And may I say,